What's going on? It is Daniel, Mr. Cuervo Racing. Today we are talking about the differences between a '06 through 14 Raptor 700 and a 15 through 20 Raptor 700 once they've been modified. So these particular builds are both a pair of friends that brought their bikes in. They are both identical builds. So we'll go over that a little bit of what they are. The '06 through 14 is a stock bore, stock crank in it. We did put a Corilla rod on that crank, but that's not affecting power in any way here. So basically, they're both 1401 compression pistons. They both have hot cam stage 3. They both have fuel customs intake. They both have power commanders with ignition. Same spark plug in both. Bored throttle body on both. The difference being the cylinder head and the exhaust system. Now, the '06 through 14 has the small bore monster duals, which work really well on this power level. And the 15 and above has the monster shorty, which works very well on it. So both running monster exhaust, suitable for their application, both muffled pipes. The gearing is the same on the bikes. Billet baskets in both of them. So everything down the line is all the same fuel in both of these bikes. Which is really interesting is dyno both of these today within an hour and a half of each other. And came up to very interesting results where they both made 64 horse with a little bit of change on it. For our time of the year here and kind of what I've been dealing with new software on the dyno, seeing in the colder weather, we actually see a reduction in numbers. Normally these builds would make 65 and a half, 66 horsepower. So that being said, rambling on, right? This is displaying the difference between those two builds. So on the sheet here, we have our horsepower climbing, carrying over the top, and the torque curve here carrying over. Now, you're probably looking at this wondering if this is the same bike or if it's both different ones. This is the two different bikes. So the red curve is the 2015 and above, and the blue curve is the 2006 to 2014. All right, there we go. Fix the focus a little bit. So what we see here is up top everywhere from, so this is in mile an hour right now. I can actually see where they're revving out to. Where the 15 and above revs further. So with the same gear ratio, same tire on it, it does have more potential top end in its RPM capability in stock configuration. So over a mile an hour, regardless of what tires, this bike's not going to do that mile an hour due to wind resistance on the road. But let's go here. No, I don't want to do that. We need to go to drum, general. We need to go engine RPM across the bottom. All right, now we're fixed. We're on engine RPM. So you can see everywhere from, let's say right about here, about 6,700 and above is almost identical. Besides the RPM potential of the 2015 and above, makes a little bit squeak more power there and then carries on in RPM potential. But from everywhere, 6,700 on is what you would say is the same. Down below here, if we start, so everywhere below this line here is kind of how I'm rolling into that curve. So we kind of throw that away. But once we're in the throttle on these runs, they're the same for a little bit. The 15 has a little bit of dip here. Some of that's in the pipe cam configuration in this combination. They always have that little dip there. The 06 through 14 has a nice smooth pull through that area, and then plateaus. So the blue line hits a peak torque right here, and then flattens out, where the 15 and above has this real nice bump in torque right in this mid-range. So in riding the bike or in racing the bike, where you would feel that torque range is either rolling in the power off of cruise, or after you shift the bike, we're coming down about 2,500 RPM off of your shift point. So let's say you shift it out here a little past 8, you're dropping right into this 6,000 RPM peak or RPM range where there's a peak power on that 15 head, and there's nice gains over the 06 through 14. So if you put both these bikes together on paper, the 15 should be faster, regardless of small variation up here. It's kind of a wash, but this area here, when you hit that shift, it's going to pull a lot harder through that range. That head on the 15 with the single exhaust has always shown this capability in having more torque sooner. So this is stock head versus stock head, no porting differences there, just kind of where they're coming from the factory. So this is kind of carried throughout, and you'll see this as you do different builds going on up. So as we really start to push more volume, say you get into like the 800 cc range, you'll see less of a difference in this area, because you're pushing a lot more volume through the dual exhaust, and utilizing the pipe, the dual exhaust pipe flow capabilities at that range. On a stock head, they kind of suffer in this capability, where that single performs better. So that's what makes that stock head on the 15. That's what makes them run really quick. So a little bit of modifications here gets you into the mid 60s. There is your difference. So now you can fight it out with your friends and see who thinks they're faster or not, and who wants to bench race. So, but there you have it. Is a pretty significant difference on paper, same build versus same build. So, all right, guys, thanks for hanging out for a little bit, watching. Back at it with another one. We got some interesting stuff coming into winter and the holiday here in 2020. So can't wait for this year to be over and start on the next. So thanks for watching. We will see you on the next one.